Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let us see what we can do with Revit. Let's see, try to design some stuff. So I have here in AutoCAD, this is a floor plan of 2 apartments. There's symmetry here, parlor, 2 rooms, 2 baths, a kitchen and a veranda. So let's see what we can do. So without any waste of time, I'm going to open up my Revit. This is my Revit. So there is always something that you want to do in Revit. The first thing is make sure you have your external library. Make sure you have a folder created on your laptop where you are going to be saving your files. Like ever since I started using Revit, all my models are in one folder. So in that folder I have different subfolders for the different models that I create. So there's a little setup here, a one-time setup that you need to do. If I come over here to home, I click on home, my Revit becomes this way with blurred out tabs. You go to file, come down to options. Alright, these are some certain stuff that you may want to set up. This is notifications to save. You may want your software to notify you at intervals to remind you to save your project. So here I have put a reminder interval of 30 minutes. This is actually too much. 15 minutes is a good time interval. I'll change this to 15. Okay. All this other stuff, just leave it the way it is. User interface, you probably just want to leave it the way it is, but there are a couple of things you can play with. I'm not gonna get into that right now. Keyboard shortcuts, you want to see what they are. Okay, for example, you want the properties of an element, just type pp. Lines li, component gm. Let me show you the ones I love using very much. rp is one, then di for dimensions. So you want dimensions, just type di. There's another one, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for un, very important for units. So we have, I'm looking for a particular one. Copy is co, align is ac, rotate rm, gm for draw mirror axis. So I'm looking for a particular one I love using often. ll for levels, good, this one is very important. Then gr for door, wn for window, very important. So rm for room, very important. I'm still looking for another one. Gr, I want gr, which is for axis. So you have, anyway, they are all together here. You can take time to look at them. They will save you time when you are working. Colors, just allow this. But what they are basically saying is that, for example, I can change my background. If I change it to black, you see I will have something else here. I don't want that. Okay, so just allow it. Graphics, this one too, nothing to change. Hardware, just allow it. File locations, good. Now sometimes you may not have all these templates loaded, but it's true that many of the Revit versions you are going to have all these templates already loaded. But suppose you don't have, you may have them in your families folder, and you can actually load them up. Anyway, we are going to see what that means when the moment comes. But what I wanted to show you is about this. You go to places and you can see that this box comes up where you have a possibility to add a folder or to delete a folder. So I told you that you need to create a folder. Here I put mes dessins. This is in French, which means my drawings. So there's a folder in my disk D titled Revit 2025. Let me show you. So this is my drive G. There's a folder there titled Revit 2025. So I have signaled the link to that folder in Revit. Suppose I wanted to make another folder appear here. I'll just click on plus. I'll give the name. Let me call it Revit 2026. So what I'm basically doing is all my drawings of 2026, I want to store them in this folder. So I will go to my drive D like this, and I'll create a folder there titled Revit 2026. Then back in my Revit, after giving the name of the library Revit 2026, I now want to tell Revit where this folder is found. So I click here and I click on this young guy at the end, and then I go over to my drive D and I choose this folder by clicking on it once and clicking on open. So Revit gives the link to that folder has been brought in here to Revit, and I will say OK, and I will click on OK. So these are just the settings I wanted to show you. Now remember, let me get back to it a bit. Remember that I've also indicated to Revit the folder that contains my external libraries. So you follow the same procedure. You indicate to the software the folder that contains your external libraries. Okay. Now what does that mean? It means that when I come to File, now I'm going to come to New and go over and click on Project. I want to create a new project. This box appears. It says create new project. I'll say yes. I'll click on it, and I'm gonna click on this drop down and take architecture template, and I'll say okay. So I want to create an architectural model. So this is my drawing space that has opened. First thing, you are going to type UN to enter into your units. You want to do settings. You want to set up your model. Okay. So when this unit comes up, what I normally do is, my area is a meter square, that's fine, but I will ask the software to give me 2 decimal places. Good. My length in millimeters, that's not what I want. I always want my length in centimeters, like this. Okay. These are basically the 2 settings that I always like touching here. The other ones you may like to deal with them, but I don't find that necessary for now, and I'm gonna say okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is to save this file. So if I go over to File and I click on Save like this, you see this box appears. It wants me to save my file, so I can go over to documents, I go over to drive D, I begin to find where I can save my file. Okay, that is very long to do, so this is where the settings that we did come in, because if I just scroll down here like this, I actually find my folder Revit 2026 just here. So I don't need to go over here searching for the folder. No, it's so long. So the settings we did a while ago permit your folders to appear here, so that anytime you want any of the folders, you just drop down and click on 2026. This is where I want to save my models, and in this folder I'm going to create a subfolder called, let me call it Revit Architecture Lessons, and I'm going inside and I will say lesson 1, and I'll click OK, save. Beautiful. Who's this fellow appearing here? Okay, the next thing to do is to set up my levels, because I have to tell the software how many floors. So I'm going here on my project browser, I'll go down to elevations, I'll click on a certain elevation. In order to be on an elevation, so you double click to activate an elevation view. So I have two levels here, as you can see, level 0 and level 1. Level 0, level 1, and the difference in height is 400, that is 4 meters. I don't want that, so I'm going to click on 4, double click on 400 please. It will give you the chance, it highlights like this, giving you the chance to modify. So I'll click 300. I say okay, so I want the different height to be 3 meters. So now you can measure the distance between the two. You can go to annotate, and you have here dimensions. Just you click on the first level and you click on the second. You can see the distance is 300. So the shortcut for dimension is DI. So if I press DI on my keyboard, you can see my mouse pointer has the dimension sign attached to it, telling me that I am in dimension mode. So how do you put a dimension? You click the first point, you click the second point, then you take your mouse away like this, and then you click in an empty space to place a dimension. So I'll click on this and just press delete on my keyboard. Now I want to add other levels, because I want this to be a 3 floor. So what am I doing? If I go to my architectural tab, under datum, I have grids. Grids, you place them on a floor plane, on a floor plan, and I also have levels. So as you can see, the short form for levels is LL. So if I click on this, you can see my mouse pointer has changed, and I will just come over here like this. The blue line is telling me that the next level I want to place is aligned with the 2 other levels. And as I am going up, you can see there's a dimension that is appearing, giving me the distance between level 1 and the new level that I want to place. Right now I have 270, which is 270 centimeters. Now I can simply just type 300 on my keyboard. So as I begin to type 300, the dimension changes from 270 to 300. When I click enter, you see level 2 appears, and then I simply just hold my mouse and I drag going to the right like this until the green line appears again. The green line is appearing again to show me that my level is aligned with the two previous levels. So I left click to place the level. You see, my level sign is still active, so it means I still have to place other level if I need to. So let me just place a random level here like this. So this is level 1, level 2, level 3, and I'm gonna say, let me just place another level like this. So the reason why I like aligning the levels is because it permits me to move all the levels at once. So if I click on this guy like this level 2, you'll see a small box appears here. I can click on this small box, left click and hold, and then drag on the right like this to increase the size. So when this small rectangle appears here, if you click on it, you will see you have another head here. So that's what this guy is all about. If you click here, the head this way disappears. So don't be bothered whether you have one head or two heads. Now if you want to change the heads of all of this, you just need to select one of them, go to the properties, enter inside of modify, and then symbol at 2 at N2 default. So here they have selected only symbol at N1, meaning the symbol is on one side, the head is on one side. So if I select this, you see the heads will appear on the other side for all the levels. So now let me look at the difference in heights. So I'm going to type GI, the dimension is going to be activated. Then I'll start by clicking my beginning point, clicking my second point, clicking my third point, clicking my fourth point, clicking my fifth point. Then I'm going to click outside, away, or nothing in order to place the dimension line. I can click here or I can bring it here. There's nothing here. I click there, it will place the dimension line. Okay, so here is 300, here's 300. The difference here is 360, so I want it to be 300. I'm going to click this guy. So the man that I'm clicking is the one who is going to move as soon as my dimension is changed. So as I click on this, the distance between here and here becomes highlighted, it becomes blue. So if I click on this blue, I can change it to 300 and press enter. I can click on this other one and change this to 300 and press enter. Okay, so my levels are 300 centimeters apart from each other. Alright, I will save my project by clicking control, by pressing Control S. Alright, these are my levels. So I'll go to my floor plan. You can see my levels have been set 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I want to start drawing. Let me go to my floor plan by double clicking on level 0. This is my level 0. If this space is small, I have the possibility to select these views like this, and then when you bring your mouse on them, the move tool, this move tool, you see it appears. So you can click, hold and drag to the right like this. You select this guy, click, hold and drag to the left. You select this guy, click and drag below. You select this guy, click and drag above. So the idea is to draw within these four guys, because if you draw outside here, and you go to your elevation, you won't see it. Like if I draw something here, okay, look at, I want to see the 3D view of this. You can come here, 3D views, and you double click like this to see the thing. This is what I have drawn. This is it in 3D. As well as if you are on the floor plan, you can come here on this quick access toolbar. You see this house, you click on it, it will still give you the 3D view. Alright, let me go to my ground floor. So normally, let me say I want to look at the front elevation of what I have done. So the front elevation is from this way looking up. So it is the south elevation. This elevation is the south elevation. This is the west, the east, and the north. So I'm going to double click on the south and look. You see where it is appearing, and there are parts of it that are not active, they are not visible. So what's happening is if I go to my ground floor and I click, look at what I'm doing. I'm bringing my mouse. If I click on this, that elevation is selected, and they are telling me that this elevation is facing up. Look at the way this arrow is. This small box has been selected. So what happens if I select this other small box like this? You see my elevation is now looking this way and looking this way. It's more like somebody with two eyes, one looking at the left and one looking right in front. So I don't want that. I'll take this off. Say yes. Okay, and remember, when I select this, another elevation is added here on your project browser titled 4A. So I'll turn this off. I'll say yes. That's the first thing. Now when I bring my mouse up here, I keep going, I come up to this other rectangle towards the head here where you have this small black hyphen. I click there. You see there's a line that appears like this, and this line shows me the range of the elevation. What does it mean? If I create something here and I'm looking at it from the south, I won't be able to see the thing. Okay, let's look at something. Let me create a wall here, a rectangular wall here. I'm going to stand on the south. You see, I don't see anything. Okay, but if I go back to the ground floor and I click on this small guy like this, and I drag this arrow, I click on the arrow and hold and drag, so much so that this rectangular object that I have created sits within the range of this view. Then if I go to my south elevation, you can see that it is appearing here. So the reason we are trying to draw between these four elevations is because we want what we are drawing to sit within the view of those elevations. Alright, I will select these objects and I will delete them. So there are a couple of ways of selecting. It's more like AutoCAD. If I click and hold, click my left mouse button and hold, and I begin to drag, you see a selection box is coming. As I'm going from left to right, an element is only selected when that element is entirely within that selection box. As you can see, as soon as my selection box covers the first wall, you see that wall becomes highlighted. I keep dragging it down. It covers the second wall on the left, it's highlighted. I keep dragging it down. The guy on the right, you see, until if that is fine, I release to select, and then I can click delete, to delete. So that's the first method of selection. The second method of selection is actually by clicking on the element to select it and delete. You can click on an element, hold down the control key and select other elements. You see, and select other elements. So just give me a minute. Let me respond to someone. All right. Okay. Thanks for your patience. God bless you all. So, like I was saying, you can select individual elements. Now, the third method of selection is highlighting from right to left. So, if I click my mouse button, my left right mouse button, and I hold and I'm dragging, you see the selection box in dotted lines appears. So as I'm going from right to left, as I go from right to left, any element that my selection box touches is selected. See, if my selection box touches anybody, he is selected. Meanwhile, from left to right, you have to be entirely inside the selection box to be selected. So this is selection for you. Select and delete. Okay, I save my project again. We are learning gradually. So now I want to begin drawing my model. So onto the architectural tab, under architecture, not structure, under architecture, I will click on wall. Just click on wall. So when you click on any element, the element appears here. So, but if you look beside, you see a small triangle. That triangle is actually a drop down. So if you click on it, you will see different types of the particular element that you have selected. So these are different types of walls. If I scroll down, I even have curtain walls and stack walls. So these are different types of walls. Now I am in Cameroon. We use our normal block wall is 15. So I'm just going to choose, let me say, I'm looking if I can see any architectural wall that is alright. Let me say this is a concrete wall, 300 concrete. I don't want it. This is a footing wall. I don't want it. Let me say I take this guy. Let me choose this guy. Okay, it's called basic wall. Now I need to look at the properties of the wall and apparently modify. So that's why I'm gonna click on edit type. So when you click on edit type, this box appears. The first thing you want to do in Revit is always to duplicate the element, because if I edit the element, then this element is going to be edited in the software. But what I want to do is to keep the software element, create a copy of it. Let me just call it 15 centimeter wall. 15 centimeter wall. I'll say okay, and then as you can see, the name has changed. So I can now go into the modifications, and while modifying now, I won't be modifying the basic wall, which is a system wall, but I will be modifying a copy of it, which I have named 15 centimeter wall. So let's go over to the modifications. So under edit, come over here, you click on edit, and as you can see, that wall has a couple of layers. The first layer is the plaster. There's a finish layer here, and the material is plaster, and the thickness is 1.25 centimeters. Then the wall also has a material on the other side, which is also a plaster with a thickness of 1.25. Then the wall has a structural material, so that's the main material. Here the material applied to it is an air infiltration barrier, which is 7.5 centimeters. So this is what I'm going to do. This finished material is more like Excel. If you want to select the entire row, you come over here and you select like this. So when I click there, I'm going to delete. I'll go to this row 4, I'll click, I'll also delete. So I want a solid wall, and then I'll click on this thickness and I'll enter 15 to be 15 centimeters thick. Then I'll come to this material. For now, the material is not of very much importance, but let me change the material. So for you to change the material on the wall, you click here. Let me go out. You want to change the material, so click on material, and you see this small guy that appears here. You click on it, and then you see the types of materials that are in the system. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me just use plaster. So you click on plaster and you say okay, and then we're just going to bypass this for now, and I'm going to say okay, and I'll click okay again. So as you can see, I now have basic wall, 15 centimeter wall. Let us start drawing. So my mouse is active for me to start drawing. If I go to my AutoCAD, let's look at what is happening. I have room, toilet. So what I'm going to do, the first thing you need to do is to draw something that looks like this. Forget about the dimensions. So I'm going to my software. This is Revit. I'm going to start off with something like this, as you can see. So to draw a wall, you have a couple of options here. You can draw using a rectangle. You can draw using a line. You click from beginning to end. You can draw using an arc by clicking from point 1, then clicking the last point, and then drag, shifting like this until you get the right arc that you want, like this, and then you click. You can draw polygon. So if I click on a polygon, you see I can click here and change the number of sides. Let me say okay, let me allow it at 6 first, and then I will draw. You see it's going. So you have 6 sides. If I come here and I cancel that guy and I put 10, you see it has been changed to 10 sides. So I'm just going to click escape. So for me to leave this command, I can just click on modify, leave the command. So these are the walls. What am I going to do? Select these guys, delete them. So I'll click on wall again. So when you click on wall, the last wall that you used is what is going to pop up. Alright, but before we start drawing, remember I want to be drawing using the line tool. The first thing you have to know is you define the constraints. So I have a series of levels here, and I'm actually in the ground. I'm in level 0, which is the ground floor. So I want to tell my software where this wall should start and where it should finish. That's why you see base constraint and the top constraint. So by default, the software has set the base constraint to level 0. Yes, so meaning the wall will start at level 0 and the top constraint is level 1, meaning the wall starts from level 0 and ends at level 1. And if you remember, the distance between those two levels is 300. That is why you can see here there is 300 blurred out. So if I wanted it to end at level 2, I will just click here and select level 2, and you can see 600 down here because the distance from level 0 to 2 is 600. So I will click here and put 1 like this. Now what I'm going to do is I will start drawing. If I look in AutoCAD, this is what I have. So what you need to do is first of all to draw a shape that looks like this. Forget about the dimensions for now. So I'll walk over here. I'm going to draw. If I want to go fast, let me take the rectangle. I'll click. I'll draw something like this. Okay, I'll click the line tool. I'll cut it like this. I'll cut it again like this. Okay, this is actually how it goes, like this, and I'll bring it here. Then I'm going to cut it here like this. So I've basically drawn a shape here. What next? I'm going to go back. Then okay, I'll do something like this. Then when I bring my mouse pointer, you can see it catches the alignment here. So there's another thing I want to show you. Like when I am drawing, look, when I click and I am drawing, you can see my mouse pointer is at the center. What is drawing? My wall is taken from the center. Why? Because under location line I have taken wall center line. If I took finish exterior, look at what is happening, and I start drawing, look at my mouse pointer is actually working where? At the end, at one end of the wall on the left. So you see the way my wall is moving. Look, it's not more moving at the center. Look at where my mouse pointer is. Okay, so those are some options that you can use. So if I wanted to draw a wall that leads from here and goes inside, I will use that option, wall. I will use face exterior, then I will start from here. See, but if I use center and I start from here, this will be the center of my wall. Look at, okay, so I will remain with center. So another thing you also may want to look at is height. When you look at here, they have put height, so you click height. Height simply means your wall starts from somewhere and goes up, while depth means your wall starts from somewhere and goes down. So if I wanted to draw using depth, it would have been good for me to stand at level 1, so that from drawing from level 1, my wall will leave from level 1 and go down to level 0. Okay, then the next thing we want to also look at is something called chain. Let me try something out. So if I draw a wall like this, so when I draw a wall, I click, I want to turn to the other side. Look at the way my walls are embedding with each other. Okay, let me try to take away this chain and see something. You see? So this chain permits me to draw a series of walls moving. Look, highlight chain. Chain permits me to draw a series of walls just by turning the direction of my mouse. While if I take up chain, I draw a wall, and because drawing a wall, you click from the starting point, you pull your mouse, you click the end point. So with chain not highlighted, when I select my starting point and I select my end point, you see no possibility is given to me to continue drawing. So all the walls, you draw them independently. That's it. So if I wanted to draw another wall, I have to come and click here and draw it again. So but with the option chain, you draw, you just keep going. The mouse pointer, the wall keeps popping up. Let me put it that way. So I'm selecting these guys and I'm deleting them. I take wall again, activate my chain. Then let's look at what this joint status means. If I open joint status and I say disallow, let's see what it means. I will draw 1 and I'll go 2. Look at what is happening here. So that joining of walls to each other has not applied here. So if I put join allow, it permits me that when I draw 2 walls, the walls embed with one another. Alright, let's keep moving. I'll select these guys, I delete, so I'll take wall again, and like I said, my previous wall that I used is going to pop up, and my previous levels that I used is going to pop up, and you can even see location, center line is the same thing up here. So I want to draw now this area. So even the veranda, which is here, I'm still going to draw it as a wall. Even this other veranda, I'll draw it as a wall, because what is happening is this is a wall. This is a wall starting from the ground level right up to the first level. This is also a wall, but it is a half wall. Let me show you an image to give you an understanding. Look at this. So this is what I mean. There is a half wall here, but there is also a long wall here. So these are walls that I've used. Okay, let's move ahead. So I want to draw this other side. What will I do? I'll go to my Revit, my wall tool active. I take this, I move it a little bit, I come it. When I see that green line appears, I go ahead like this. I draw it like this, and then I'm going to take something like this. I go out it this way like this. Look at it again. Okay, that's not the right thing. I'll press escape. That word is somewhere here. Comes like this. Comes like this. And goes something like this. And there's a toilet here. You can click here again. pull it out like this, click, go with it this way, and I see that green dotted line. I click, I bring it here like this, I cut it again somewhere here, and then I click here again, I drag it like this, I bring it here like this. Okay, then look at this. I don't want this man going out here, so I'll go to modify. These are modification tools. You are going to use this tool called trim extend corner. So this allows you to trim a corner. So if I click on this tool, what this means is how this tool is used. These are walls here that I want to modify. I want to take off this extension here. So the way this tool works is I'm gonna click on the two sides that I want to keep, then the other side will disappear. So like this is one wall, but it is having two sides, the first side and the second side, because this other guy is actually like intercepting it. So I want this guy to remain, so I'll click it. Now this other guy, as you can see when I put my mouse here, the green line is from here to down here. If I take it up, the green line goes, the dotted line, this is it goes up this way. If I take it down, it comes down this way. So it means Revit is actually understanding that this long wall is in two sections. So which section of this wall do I want to conserve? I want to conserve this part, so I'm going to click on it and the other part will disappear. That's what it means. That's how it functions. So okay, that's it. Now suppose that I wanted this wall to come right down here and be joined to this one. I will use the same tool by clicking, then I will click this guy, one, and then I'll click this guy. You see that blue line appears. So I click one and I click two and they are joined. If I want to separate, I will still use the same tool. Okay, now suppose that I want to take off this one between these two. What will I do? This is the first person that I want to keep, and this is the other guy. Sorry, this is where they intersect. So I'm going to click this and I'll click this. You see this man will disappear. So I'll bring it back. How do I bring it back? I want this and this to be joined. Then let me cut it again. So I want this wall to come like this and go this way. So I'll click this and click this other part. The other part will disappear. Now I want this wall to come like this and bend here. So I want this guy to disappear. 1, 2, and the other guy disappears. So now, yes, I'll save my project. Okay, let's keep looking at stuff. The next thing is that, so when we look here, we have a shape that looks like, because what I want us to do is we are going to apply a mirror here to have the other side. So back to my Revit, the battle continues. I'll click on wall, my wall appears on wall, and then I'll add this other guy here like this. Okay, right. So I actually want to get rid of this portion of the wall, so I'll go to modify. Under modification, there is this tool that says split element. So if I take this tool, it gives me the possibility to cut this long wall into sections. So if I come somewhere here, I can cut it, and I'll press escape to leave the command. So this now becomes an independent wall, and this is an independent wall. So if I click on this independent wall, you can see the starting point and the end point. I have the possibility, by clicking on this small circle at the end point and holding, I will click, hold, and drag like this and bring it here. So you see, then I can apply the same technique here like this to have this space empty. So I'll click on undo on the quick access toolbar. Let's use a different command to treat this fellow. So up here we have trim extend single element. So I have trim extend single element. I'll click on it. What this means is, this is just a single element. This wall is a single element. Suppose I want to extend it to touch this other wall which is coming this way. What will I do? I'll click on the wall that I want it to be extended to, like this one. So I want the object to be extended to that line. Then I'll bring my mouse to the element that I want to extend like this, and you can see a green line appears in front, meaning that if I click, the element is extended to this line. So I'll click on undo. If I now want this element to be trimmed at this point, I will use the same tool, but now I'll click here. This is where I want the element to end. Then I'll click on this side of the element that I want to keep, because if I click on this side, this other part will disappear. So if I'll click on this side, I see it has gone. So now I'll take the wall, I will activate the wall command again. This time I will not go to architecture, I will just type WA, and the wall command will be activated, and I will draw a series of walls like this. The first wall, I press escape, I draw the second wall, I press escape, I draw the third wall, I press escape, then I press escape again. So these are 3 walls that are intersecting this element. I want all the walls to end at this element from down to this point. So I'm now going to use the word trim extend multiple elements. Click on it. This is the line where I want the elements to be cut. This part, this element, for this element I want to keep this down part, so I'll click on it and the upper part will disappear. For this element I want to keep the upper part, so I'll click on the upper part and the down part will disappear. For this one I want to keep the up part too, like this, and I'll click escape. So this multiple trim extend permits you to trim or to extend multiple elements with respect to a particular reference or to a particular reference. So I'll select this and I'll delete them, and I'll save my project by pressing Ctrl S. Okay, you can click this wall. When you click on a wall and you keep your mouse button there, you will see that this tool, the move tool, appears. You click on the move tool and shift it like this. You can shift the element. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving ahead. Alright, this is our AutoCAD file. Okay, so after having this shape, the next thing that we want to do is to put dimensions inside of this. So we can activate the dimension tool by pressing GI on your keyboard, and you'll see your mouse has changed, and here it has also been written linear dimensions. Or you can go to the annotate tab and press linear dimensions. Okay, the linear dimensions is popped up. Let's go to edit type. Why are we trying to edit type? Okay, if I put my dimension, look at what it is. Right now I'm trying to put my dimension on an element and the element is not highlighting. What's going on? What's going on? Please respect yourself. Oh la la. Element, why are you not highlighting? Alright. I'll leave the dimension tool. So one thing I discovered with Revit is that because the version I'm using, I didn't buy it, I downloaded it from the internet. The economy does not permit me to be able to buy any genuine softwares right now, so we deal with the versions we have download from the internet, and what comes with it, you deal with it. So I found out that this linear dimension tool is always a problem. See, it's always a problem. But if you take the align tool, you see it becomes active. So what we are going to be using is the align tool, the angular, the radar, you know. Okay, so for angular, if I click on the first element, I click on the second element, it gives me the angle. So if I bring my mouse to this quadrant, it's going to give me the angle in the first quadrant. If I bring my mouse to this, it gives me the angle in the second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. So let us stick with the linear dimensions. So I'll go to my annotate tab and I will click on aligned. So when I bring my mouse here and I try to put a dimension, actually what I want to do is I want to put a dimension between an internal dimension. So I'm trying to put, but I'm not catching the inner surface of the wall. So what I'm supposed to do is to go over here. You will see first they are talking about picking individual references. Okay, then here you can see wall center line has been activated. It means only the centers of the wall are activated. What you want to do is to click here and go to wall faces like this, and then when I bring my dimension tool, you can see the center is activated and the faces are also activated. So when I bring my mouse to bam, you can see my dimension has been placed. So I will escape. What I want to do is I want to put a dimension here. So as I click the first point, I click the second point, I will continue clicking and going. Like this. Remember what I told you, when you click the beginning, you can keep clicking and going. When you click the final point and you want to place a dimension line, you can shift it. When the place where you want to place it is okay, then you take your mouse away like this, or where there is no element, and you click to place a dimension. So that's it. I'll also select this, I'll place a dimension here, and then what I'll do is, this is a veranda, so that's why I'm clicking from outside to here, to here, to here, to to here, to here, to here, then to here. I'm going to also click this and put it like this. Then I will click like this, like this, like this, and like this. I'll also do this. Alright, I'll also do this, 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 and this. Okay, and I'll also do this. So I want this. I also want this. Then what else do I want? I think that is okay. I also want this, and I can also want this. Yep, let me put it like this. So now, as you can see, your dimensions, your text is looking very big. So just come down here to scale and click on 1:50. Here is actually 1:100. Just put 1:50. You can see your text has adjusted. Now let's move. So I will press DI again and I'll put this dimension to, I need it. Okay, after doing this, the next thing is now to modify these dimensions so that it actually comes out as perfect as it is. So let's start from here. This is 300 and this is 60. So here is 360 by 428 and here is 130. So if I click here, as you can see, this 380. So if I want this wall to shift downward, so I'll click on the wall, this dimension I'll highlight, I click on it and I give 360 like this and I click enter. They asked me on join because this wall, which was formerly joined to this, is now leaving it. I'll say yes on join. So the best thing I can do is just to click this wall and delete it, then go to my modify and use the join angle and click on this and on this to join the two walls so that this becomes just one wall up to this area. So now the next thing, I have this 360. I will click on this because I want it to shift this way and I'll enter here. This is 428. I'll click OK. You see, now this veranda 110 is the right dimension. From here to here is 110. This extension is 60. So what I'm going to do is to go to Revit. This is 110 and this distance from okay, let's just continue. First, this is 60, so I'm clicking on this and I'm giving this dimension to be 60 like this. Then next, this is from here to here is 130 and this distance is already okay. So I'll click on this because I want it to move downward and I'll give the dimension here 130 like this. Alright, this other guy, the dimension is 300, which is 3 meters. I'll click here and I'll say 300. I want it to move like this. You can click on this dimension, the move tool will appear. You can click and drag and put it here. Okay, that's fine. Then now we are going to come back to this area. The parlor here is 460 and the kitchen here is, okay, let's deal with the parlor first. 460. Here is 62. No, here is 50. So the first thing I want to do is GI. I want the dimension from here to here. First, I want to click on this wall and make sure that this dimension is 50. So the distance from here to here is 50. Then I will click on this wall to give it a dimension of 150. See, that's what we have here, 150. Then I'll give 465 and 460. So here I'll now click on this and I'll give a distance of 465. I'll click on this and I'll give a distance of 460. So you see the parallel is out. Now let's go over here. Let's try to see how to sort out this space. Alright, here we have, if we like, we can start from this direction. The distance from here to here is 240. The distance from here to here is 150, and this is 420. So we want to click on this wall and give the distance to be 150, and then we want to click on this fellow and give the distance to be 420, like this. Okay, then I'm already seeing that like this distance is 240. So if I go here and I click on this wall, okay, the best thing to do is to come here and check this dimension first. Like if I go to annotate, if I check this dimension, this is 190. So why am I trying to figure out this dimension first? Because if I enter this guy 240, it will probably leave here and come here, and there will be an error sign here trying to tell me that this wall is being dislocated from this. So I'll put GI to place a dimension here, like this. Then I'll click on this wall and give this distance from here to here to be 190, like this. It is at this point that I can click this guy and give this dimension to be 240. Okay, then the other thing I know is that this extension out here is 60, so I'm going to click on this wall and give this extension to be 60, like this. Alright, the next thing I know is my toilet here. Let me take a dimension again. From here to here is 185. So I know that this distance from here to here is 185. Click this wall and give a distance of 185. Yep. And then my veranda, know that the distance from here to here is 110. So if I look up in my Revit, I see I have 110. This is 110. So that's fine. Then now the distance from here to here, GI. Okay, this is it. We need now to set this distance. So from Revit, from AutoCAD, I can have that distance. Distance is 165. So I'm going to click on this guy. Sorry. It's actually 180. Yeah. So to the out. So the distance from here to the outer surface is 180. So I'll click here and put 180, like this. And as you can see, I have something is coming up, I'll save my project, Control S. Alright, the next thing I want to do is to treat this guy, and in AutoCAD I know that the distance from here to here is 78, and then 78, so I have 78 and 238. So here I'll click on this wall and give it a distance of 78. I'll click on this other wall and give it a distance here of 238, and that's it. I will save my project, Control S. So the next thing we want to do is we know that this is a veranda. Like if I want to see my 3D view, let me click up here. This is what we are up to. So I can click here and turn around. So this is what we are up to, like this. Okay, here is a veranda, right? Here's a veranda, and here is a veranda. So what I want to do is I want to reduce the height of these walls to look something like this, short, something like 60 centimeters. So I don't want these walls to be too long like this. Here, here, and here. So I will go back to my floor plan. Oh, there's this place we have not set this. This distance here is 333. So we're just going to click on this and give here 333. You are save your project. That's fine. I want to arrange this wall from here to here to be having a height of 60 centimeters. So look at what I'm going to do. First, let me take my split element tool. I'm going to come here. So I want to split this wall here like this, and I want to split this wall here. I also want to split this wall here. Remember, I'm splitting by the horizontal wall, and this other wall I want to split it here. These ones I will allow them. So the first thing I want to do is I have to select one. I hold my control key, I select these three, and then I want to give them a height of 60 centimeters. So I'm going to come to, remember I want them to start from the floor level 0 but only have a height of 60. So if I click here, I will need to say unconnected. When you click on connected, this place becomes active, and there I will just put 60, and then I will bring my mouse away. See, if you go to your 3D view, look at what it has become, right? Okay, let's go back to our ground floor. Why we just succeeded here so easily is because this guy is not intersecting, or like it's not part of a long wall like this. But on the other hand, this part is part of this wall, so that's why we have to cut it to make it independent. So the first thing is we are going to select this guy 1, 2, and 3. Come here, say unconnected, and give him a height of 60. That's the first thing. Then we actually want to select this wall and hold this endpoint and bring it to marry with the other wall like this. As you can see now, there's a small space here, so you click this guy and hold the endpoint and bring it here like this. Okay, same here, we'll click this, drag this guy, click this other guy, drag him and put him here, click away. Now let's come to this. We are going to select this wall, hold the control key and select this guy, and then come here to level 1, upper level, and click on connected and give 60. Here is fine, here is also fine. Somehow if you click here, you will see that this wall is going in here. I want to click here and bring it right out here like this. I like it that way. Then here, see it's inside, I want to click it and bring it here. Yeah. So if you now go to your iterative view, this is what you have. This is what you are going to have. So you see. Alright. Beautiful. So I'm going to save my project by clicking Ctrl S. So I'll come back to my ground floor plan. The next thing now that I'm going to do is to put doors and windows. Remember, all these dimension lines, I will delete them. The time for dimensioning is going to come. So you want to put doors and windows. So the first thing you do is come over here to architecture, door, and you can see these are a couple of doors that are already existing. So now I don't like this door. I will just go over to load family. What I'm doing is I'm telling my software that I want to take a door component from my external library. So I will click on load family. Remember, if your door is active, you can only load families that are in the folder of doors. So when I click on load family, this box appears. Remember the settings we did at the beginning. So I'm going to come down here, and then this is the file that contains my external libraries. I'm going to click on it, and you see my external libraries has appeared here. So I'm going to go under doors. I'll double click to open. I'll be clicking once on each element and seeing the preview. So I won't waste time here. I already know the type of doors I want. I want a door like this. I want this door. I want it actually, I don't want glasses here, so this one is good. And I want this, let me show you. I want this panel of 3, this sliding door of 3 panels. I also want this sliding door of 2 panels. So what I'm doing is I'm holding my shift key to select multiple elements, multiple door elements. Then I'm going to click on open. So because when you go to AutoCAD, you see that this is, so the elements are loading. You allow them to load. So you see this is a sliding door of 3 panels. This is a sliding door of 2 panels, like as you can see it in 3G here. Sliding door 3 panels and 2 panels. Alright, back to Revit. So this is my door element. I'll click on it. I'll edit. I'll say I want, remember to duplicate. I'll call this 80 door. So it's a door of dimensions 80. What am I going to do? There are 2 parameters I need to modify here. The first parameter is the height. I'll put it at 210 because that's a conventional height here. And the next is the width. I'll put it at 80 and I will say OK. When you say OK, you go to your Revit. You can see when I bring it here, you see the way the door is attaching to the wall. By pressing look, my mouse is actually on this bottom side of the door, of the wall. Now by pressing my shift key, I change the direction of the door. Now if I place my mouse on the upper side of the door, you see the door changes. Then by pressing my shift key, by pressing my space bar, please, not my shift key, my space bar, I can change the direction. So I'll put a door here like this. So when I see that the direction is good, I click to place, and then I go to the next element. I click to place, I go to the next element, I click, I go to the next element, I click, I go to the next element. Don't forget to use your space bar, please. Don't forget to use your space bar. Then I'm going to put another door here like this. So these are my doors. I don't always like all of this, jitters at the door, at the level of the elements like doors. So what you need to do is to reduce the level of jitters. So come down here to jitter level, and as you can see, it has been set to fine. You have the possibility to set it to medium, and you have the possibility to set it to coarse. I always like putting it at coarse. As you can see, it shows you just the details which are essential. So I like it this way. I actually just ever love it this way. So as you can see, now let's continue. We want to put the door here and here, so we are going to click on door again, and we are going to click on the drop down menu to choose our two panel. So we choose this two panel, edit, duplicate, we can say two panel, door, and let's just change the height. Forget about the width, change the height to 210, because that's what we want, and we'll bring it here like this. It's actually long, so let's edit it again. Let's say this is 200, that's 2 meters, and then let's put it here. Good, beautiful. Then we are going to come down again on the drop down menu and take this 3 panel, and we are going to edit it, duplicate, and say this is 3 panel door. Okay, say okay. Then here we are going to change this width, let's say to 4 meters. No, 4 meters is too much, to 3 meters, and we are changing the height to 210, and we are saying okay, and then we are placing that here. I see that it is small, so I will change this to 4 meters to make it actually here. Yeah, like this. Wow, so this is it, and we are going to click our escape to escape the command, and Ctrl S to save. So there is another thing here, this door here and this door here. Like when you look at it, it's not really a door, it's just an open space. So I don't know where that is found in your Revit library, but in my Revit library, I need to click on door. I will go to load family. It appears like this. I'll click on my family folder, and then I have a family folder here called the portal. Portal actually means doors, that's in French. So if you don't have families, you can always sign online to Revit City or AUTODESK platforms, where you can download families. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this Ouverture Libre. So this means free openings. I'll open, and I have, you see, I have a circular element there, a trapezoidal element, rectangular, and an arc. So I'll take this rectangular elements. So that's just like a door frame, a rectangular door frame. Open, you see, it appears here. So what next? Edit element. I'll say free opening. I'll give the dimension, let me just say 100, so it's 1 meter, and then I'll edit this width to 100, which is 1 meter, and then the height I'll put it at 210, and I'll say okay. So I'll put a free opening here and a free opening here. So let's go to 3G and see. This is 3G, so this is what it looks like. Okay, can rotate it around, and that is what it looks like. So our model is coming up gradually. Wow, let's clap for the Lord Jesus Christ, because he is God. Woo. Now under visual styles, if I click here and I put realistic, be patient, you see the way your model is changing. You push shaded, you see the way it changes. You put consistent colors, you see the way it changes. You put hidden lines, it depends on you. So I always like to remain with shaded or with realistic, because with realistic, when you apply paint, you will see the different colors of paint. So let me stay with shaded for now. Alright, I'll save my model, Control S. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to go back to my floor plan in level 0. Now it's time for me to place windows. So I'll go back to the architectural tab on Windows, and if I open, you see I have a couple of windows here which I don't like. So I'm going to load families. I will click on my families folder, and I have here, you know, you can actually inside of my family folders, my windows, you can go to conduit, you know, library, architecture, and you are going to have furniture, these windows. I don't know what you have in your family library, but these are windows, and you have some kind of windows. Okay, what I will do is, in my own library, I'll go back to my library folder. My windows are found here, fenêtre chinoise. I'll open it. Because I've been using Revit with this family folder, I know exactly where you know each of this stuff is found. So depending on the way you have organized your family folder, you would know exactly where your windows and elements are found. So I'm going to click on this third guy. As you are clicking on each element and coming down, you'll see the different elements. So I want this guy. No, I want this guy, this one panel window, and I want this other guy, this 2 panel. So these 2 panel, I'll place it on my rooms, and the other 1 panel, I'll place it on my toilets. So I'll click on open. So as you can see, my 1 panel windows is active here. I'll go to edit, duplicate, let me call it toilet window, and I want it to be a window of 60 by 60. So I'll edit the height to give it 60. I'll edit the width to give it 60. Just forget about these other guys, don't bother about them, even though they are written in Chinese. So okay, and then I'll come over here. So I'm not seeing my window. Why am I not seeing my window? Because the seal height has been set to 215. You know, a plan is actually a section cut at around 120, but here the seal height is 215, meaning that the window is above my cutting plane. So I'm just gonna put something like 100. Then now when I bring my window here, you still can't see it. So edit type, you change this to 100. Let's see. Now you can see a window, you see. So I want my glass to be on the outside, so I'll place my mouse on the external side of the wall and track the middle like this and come here, do the same thing, then go back to my Windows tab here on my drop down, and I will now select my double window. I'll go to edit type, I will duplicate, I will say main window like this, and I will click on the height. I want to set the height to 110. I want to set the width to 120. Now this is the seal height, so remember the door is at 210, so the height of the window here is already at 110, then it means the seal height here should be 100. Okay, I'll place one here like this, trying to figure out the middle, then I'll place one here. I think that's okay, and I'll escape twice. I'll save my model by clicking Ctrl S. Then if I go to my floor plan, you can see what it is looking like. Okay, then let's go back to level 0. Wow. So at this point I can apply the symmetry to have the other guy this way. So what I'm going to do is I'll put my mouse here and I'll select all of this. Okay, suppose that I did not want the dimensions, I can go up here to filter and then take off the dimensions. So it means you see that my dimensions are not selected. Suppose I wanted only windows, I can go here and take off walls and doors, and you will have only windows selected. So but I want everything, let me just take everything. Then as you select it, this modify tool becomes active. So under modify, you have these two elements that permit you to mirror. So the first element is mirror by picking an axis, and the second element is mirror by drawing an axis. So in this case, there is something. I actually want to mirror by drawing or by picking an axis. Let me say by picking an axis. I can pick the center of this wall, but there's a problem. The problem is that this wall itself is selected. So now if I pick this center, you see that the wall will become doubled here. There will be now two walls here. I don't want that. So I'll click on escape and I'll take my selection from the right like this. You see, this wall is not selected. So I'll go by picking axis and then I'll come down to this wall. As I bring my mouse, the center is highlighted. I'll just click. You see, a symmetry has been produced. Okay, let me press escape. Let me go back, undo a selection again like this. Let me now use draw axis. So I can click on the middle of this wall and draw a line, and then click the end of the line, and I'll achieve the same result. So in my 3D view, this is what I have. Ctrl S. Wow, thank you for making it this far. The name of our Lord Jesus Christ be blessed. Wow. Next, I can see that there's a wall here. Okay, so I'll go to my Revit like this, go back to my ground floor, and I'll take walls. Remember, I'll make sure that my wall is leaving from level 0 to level 1, and I am going to draw something like this. I'll just look, as I bring my mouse, it highlights something like this. I don't want the wall to be somewhere, I just want the wall somewhere here. Let me just draw a wall like this. Okay, look at it in 3D. There's a wall here. So I now need to bring this other wall to join here and bring this to join here. So I want to go to my ground floor. The first thing is to know the distance from here to here, like this. So what you do is, here we are in AutoCAD. Let's look at the distance from here to here is 115. So in Revit, we are going to click on this wall, and here we are going to put 115. So that's the wall. The next thing we want to do is to go to our modify tool and click on this extend trim. So I want to bring this man to be joined to this man. So I'll click 1 and click 2. They are joined. Now they are giving me a signal here because this wall now is inside of this. That's the problem. So don't bother about that for now. I'll just click this guy and click this guy. Okay. The first thing now to solve this problem is you have to click on this wall like this, and then you click on the extreme end here and hold and pull to put it here like this. That's fine. You click this other guy, we do the same, click on the extreme end here and drag to put it here, as you can see. And then when you look in 3D, you have something like this. Oh la la, marvelous. Now level 0 again, we have to place a door here and a door here. So we'll go to, you can type the short form GR, and then we'll click on the drop down. Let's take this door of 90, edit, duplicate. Let's call it 90 door. Say okay. Now we are going to change the height to 210, and we are going to change the width to 90. We are going to say okay. So we are going to place one here like this, and place one look. When I bring it, remember to use your shift, your space bar. Okay, this is it. Now we need to place another door here too, like what we have in a photo here, like this, a door here. So it's a double door, so I'll press GR again. I'll look inside of here whether I have a good double door. This one is not nice to me. Anyway, I'll duplicate it and call it main door, and I will change the width, put it at 150, and the height I'll put it at 210, and I'll say okay, and I'll place it here like this. Alright, in my 3D view, this is what I have, and I'll go to press Ctrl S to save my project. Wow. So the next thing I want to do is to put a floor here, a ground floor. So I'll go to my ground level, and I'll go to my architecture, and this is floor. So I'll up and down here, I can place an architectural floor. So I'll click on the drop down to see the types of floors. I just want to put a floor. Let's say it's a floor. I will edit the type. I'll call it ground floor. So the thickness is 21. I'll edit it. I'll just put 20. Yeah, don't bother. So this is a ground floor of thickness 20. So now I can draw the floor using the line tool. If I click on the line tool, then this is what I will be doing. I will drawing on the external parts of every wall like this. That's drawing. I'm going. Like this. Go here. Come down here. Come down like this, like this. Okay, so let me choose another option. There's another option here which is pick lines. If I take this option, it just permits me to pick lines like this. But the problem with this is that when if I pick this line, you see it just goes all through, of which I really just want it to come like this, come down this way. So that's why I like using line tool. But you must know where each tool is appropriate. Yep, come this way, like this, like this. You wow, the Lord Jesus Christ is wonderful. When you have had a closed loop, then you press on that tick sign and you can see it in 3D. So this is what it looks like. If I go to realistic, see this what it is. You can turn your model around to make your heart feel lovely. Wow, congratulations. Wow. So now our ground floor is basically done. What next are we going to do? Let's draw the staircase. Level 0. Remember, I want to fit my staircase here. So let me take off this dimension. I want my staircase to start here and go up here and come like this and come back here. So the first thing you need to do is to start with lines. This line, press under architecture, take lines. Okay. The thing is, the distance from here to here, the width of the stair is 100. So I want to draw a line here like this by 50 and draw it up. Draw another one here by 50 and draw it up, which will permit me to run my stair on that line. So what I'm doing is this. Look, I come here. As I bring my mouse, I want it to be aligned with this wall, so you will see that little green line that appears there, and then you click, and as you pull this line, you enter 50 on your keyboard like this, and then just draw a line like this and click the end point and escape. The line tool is still active, so you come this way and do the same thing. You see, when you bring your mouse and understand that it is in alignment, you click, you pull it on the right, you enter 50, okay, and then you drag it like this and you click and you escape. So I will click this line and delete, click this line and delete. So I have two lines like this. Alright, then still under architecture tab, I have my stairs. I'll click on stairs. The first thing is to choose the type of stair. I want an in situ concrete stair with a 15 centimeter waist. The next thing is to choose the levels. So as you can see, my stair is leaving from level 0 to level 1. So the distance between these two levels is 300. The other thing that you want to set up is the tread. What is you are going? I want my going at 30 centimeters. When you look at the desired number of risers, because you can click here like this and drag a bit. Let me click this and hold this a bit. See this desired number of risers. You see there are 18. If you take 18, it means that your riser height is going to be 16.67. What I want to do is I want it at 15, so I'm going to increase this to, you can write 20 like this, so and click away. So when I write 20 and click away, you can see that the distance has been turned to 15. That's the height of the riser. Now remember that I have 20 risers, so I come to my drawing. I start from here. Okay, another important thing, remember to give the width of your stair. Here is 100, so that's what we want. 50 this way, 50 this way. So also activate automatic landing. It will permit the software to produce an automatic landing. So what I'm doing is I'm starting from here and I'm going up like this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to actually make sure that there are 10 risers on the first flight. So I'm going to count. Look, this is 1. The beginning is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So meaning that my first flight is okay. I will click. That's my first flight. Then I will bring my mouse onto this other line in alignment with this, and then I will click here to begin the next flight. As soon as I click, I will be pulling. As I'm pulling, you see that the next number of flights, the 20th, ends exactly here, and I will click. As soon as I click, you can see that my software has automatically produced a landing. This is a landing. So this is the first flight, second flight, and the landing. So if you click on this landing, you see that it's a landing of 100 centimeters. So you have the possibility using these arrows to actually pull it like this and bring it here. So I want the landing a little bit long like this, and then I will click OK. And if you go to 3D, this is what your staircase looks like. So I want to see this place very well. I can click on this wall and come here to these eyeglasses. Click on the eyeglasses and hide elements. Click on the door, hide it. You see, it permits you to see very well what is going on. So in many cases I don't always want this, so I click on this and I delete it. I always like it like this. So look at it. Wow, wow, wow. And then come back to these eyeglasses and reset temporary height, isolate elements. Okay, and save your model. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is marvelous. We are progressing. So if I go to my south elevation, I can click on one of these levels, come here, click on this small round guy, hold it and drag like this to put my levels out of the model. So now this is what we have drawn. This is our front view. I can actually click on these dimensions and delete because I don't need them. So what I want to do is I want to replicate this to the other levels. So I'm just going to like start from here and select everything like this. Then what I will do is I'll come to filter and take off the floors. So I don't want this ground floor, but I want everything else because I want to copy it to the other levels. So what I'm going to do is I'll come to still under the modify tab. I'll go to copy to clipboard, then I'll go to paste. I'll go to paste on selected levels, and then I'm going to select level 1 and hold the control key, level 2, level 3. So I want to place it on level 1, level 2 and level 3, and I'm going to say OK, and then you are going to wait patiently for it to place. Wow! And as you can see, the other levels have been generated. If you go to 3D, come access it here. Wow, this is what your model looks like. So if I turn it around, wow, we are progressing. So we are going to save our model, Control S. So there's a little problem. Look, everywhere I have this door, I have this door, I have this door, I have this wall. So what I'm going to do is I select this door, I delete, I select this, I delete, I select this, I delete, I select this wall, I delete, I select this, I delete, I select this, I delete. I just want this wall to leave from here right up to the end here, so I'm going to select this wall and change the top level to level 4. See, and the wall has gone right up. Why? Because I want to place a window here that is going to run right up. Okay, so I'm going to save my model. Alright, let's place this window that runs right up here. So I'm going to, the window start is at level 1, so I'm going to place myself in level 1 like this. So what you are seeing here like this in this hidden lines is actually the level below. Like if you come here to base range is what is below. So it has been set to level 0 to level 1. So it means that as I'm in level 1, anything that starts from level 0 to level 1, I'm going to see it. So if I don't want to see what is down there, I can simply just click here and say none, and you will not see. You see that door has disappeared because that door is not in level 1 but it is in level 0. So now I want to put a window here that goes right up. I'm not going to put a classic window, I'm going to use a curtain panel. So I will go to walls and click on walls. I will go to the drop down menu. I will take a curtain panel like this, a stereo glass, or can take curtain wall empty, and then edit type. So the first thing I want to do is, let me call it long window. I will say OK. Here I will activate this command, automatically embed. What this does is that it makes the curtain wall to fit well in your model. Look, let me unactivate this first and you will see what I mean. Okay, so I want to draw. You come here, you start in the middle somewhere here, and you draw a panel like this, something like this. Okay, it's actually giving me a warning. It's saying one of them may be ignored. Why? Because there's a conflict. This element that I've placed is a wall and it is inside of another wall. So that's a problem. That is where this embedment comes in. So when you place automatically embed, you see the new wall that you are placing, the space is created for it in the old wall. So what I want to do is I want to select my curtain wall. I want it to run from level 1 right up to level 4. You understand? Right up to the end of the building. Let me put in 3D so that you'll be seeing what I'm doing. So I want it to run from level 1 right up to the end. Let me select it again. Okay, I want it to run from level 1, but I want it not to start exactly at level 1. I want it to have an offset of 40 from level 1. Count 40 centimeters, then start the window. So that's where this base offset comes in. So I put 40. Look at what happens. It has shifted up by 40. Now I want it to end at the top, but not directly at the top. I want it to end it maybe 90 centimeters before the final end. So at this top plane, I'll give an offset there of negative 90 because it is coming down. Look at, you see, and then I'm gonna press away. This is what it means. Alright, and you save your project. So ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for having arrived at this particular point. I will stop this lesson 1 here, and we are going to continue with the lesson part 2, part 3, part 4, as many lessons as it would take for us to be able to nail many of these things. Okay, so I am your brother. I'm your brother in the field. I'm Engineer Shaji Clement. Thank you very much. Remember to watch my other videos on Revit. Remember to watch my videos on the structural analysis using G+3 software. So I'll be doing my best to be uploading technical content that can help a brother, that can help a sister. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.